back to Nightingale's Motorcycles, Restorers and Metal Finishers. Right, lot to get through today. We're going to show you a few bits. We've got some good stuff in. We've got some X7 wheels, Suzuki, 80s machine. We've got a race bike in we've been doing some work on. We're on to some ceramic coating, some coatings on other parts of the bike. So I'm going to go through a few bits, have a chat, catch up and see where we're at today. And then hopefully as I go through the day I'll be able to do the video to match it up after I've finished some of these and see the final results. So we'll have a look at the wheels first. Right, so the first thing, Suzuki Race 250 wheels. Now, of all the bikes that people bring in or restore themselves, this is one of the bikes I'm saying, because we're based in Scarborough, North Yorkshire. I don't know whether it's a postcode thing or just bikes you had when you were younger. I mean, obviously like the Yams, the RDs were popular before these, the Fizzes, the Suzuki AP50s, Honda SS50s. But just lately I've had a bit more on these. Now, these wheels are a friend of mine actually, and what we're doing is, he's doing the bike up himself. But the thing is with these wheels, when these Suzuki wheels come out, if you look closely on here, and I'll just get a blade and show you. If you look actually, there's two parts really. This is one I haven't done anything with yet, apart from we just washed it off and kind of got the oxidisation off it and give it a light blast, because this was just flaky black paint in here. So when you go across these alloy spokes, right, there's actually like a line indentation on them. Right, bit worn, but it's good to see that, because this is part when you're restoring, if you've got someone who's absolutely on the nail or you've got it at a show, this is the kind of thing that someone will be looking for. Now, unfortunately over the years, you know, these have been painted out black when they were new or whatever, and then these were like a satin, not highly polished, the rim and this band and this side. And what you find is, for years of people with that kind of stuff in a tube, again I always go on about grinding paste, the clean stuff with the one that you polish and then you go black. It's been out for years, it's in a tube. Obviously it's aggressive, so any of these polishes in paste form, and just general salt, obviously we've got the salt over the years, it takes it away. So it's nice to see that, you know, it's still on there. So that means that when you're ever going to restore these, and you have got this, I mean, there's somebody who's actually nailing these back on like a drop-down nailer. And it was such a fine, like a nailer on a lathe, you know. It was such a fine offset. But for the purists, that's what you're looking for. So these are quite good. So we've done it without obviously a very super oxide, fine oxide, but we don't have anything else anyway. And taking them back. So the next stage is with it, is masking. Now, the trouble is with these is, they take about 2 or 3 hours to mask up, because what you have to do first is, before we come to the masking stage, if you look at this with, you know, rim rash, dents, marks, years of tyre levers or whatever, and you know, scuffing, we get these out with diamonds first, just as if you were like a car wheel, get it turned around. So we're taking it out and then we prepare it, we're polishing it. Now we call it a sizzle polish. So it's a polish that is just like a dull. If you over polish it, we can put a bit of alkaline on it and it takes it back down, because the idea is we don't want bling, we just want a nice satiny finish. And again across these, so across these where we've got this nailing, we're using a powder, because I always use powders to paste, because as I always say, you know, it's so aggressive as some of the hence when you clean some of your bike pipes, you're chroming on your modern bikes and you see loads of scratches. It's only like a car in a car wash, you know, brushes. So always stick to powders and paste. That's my personal thing on it. So yeah, so once you've done all this work on both sides, this hasn't been done yet, and assessed it, at the same time when it's blasted back, hate that word blasted, ultra fine oxide at low pressure, it gives you time to just examine it and see if there's any cracks. And obviously we've got all the original identification, look nice. And as I said, so we check that back, then once it's taken back, we give it a light buff, and then we come to this stage. So what we're trying to do then is mask all the spokes off, all the sides, inner rims, because this is all going to be painted out. So this happens to both sides, including the dismounting face. Now with ceramic coating, it's so fine, thousandths of an inch, or whatever you're spraying to, you can spray ceramic coating and you can put a bolt back in it and it goes straight back in. It's not like powder coating, you know, which I've just had a big run on powder coating, frames, wheels and all that. And though I zinc everything and sieve it and do everything, or my chrome powder coating there, it's still like getting in the bath with your wellies on compared to ceramic coating, because it's a factory finish and it looks superb. So we'll move on to the next stage with these now and tell you what we're doing next. So what happens is you get the wheel now that you've got it masked off. So I know when I pull the tapes, which hopefully today I'll paint this, and then it's going to be on an air cure, this, not on a resin cure. And it's going to be like a, it's funny really, because, you know, when you're explaining blacks to people in ceramic coating, there's 10 blacks and then there's a gloss. The thing is, the gloss usually comes as a resin, a mix, which we weigh out and sieve it. But this through a 325 strainer on some of the specialist coatings down to 150 straining. But when you pick it, there's about 10 blacks, you know. So originally these wheels, now I won't too much up on the colours, because trying to get, not like your RDs and LCs, because you see there's more of them than ever now. I've done more LCs. I mean, it's the same old standard thing. You get an LC 250, 350 now, you strip it down, you send frame off to someone, you either have it painted or powder coated, you get it on the bench, you have the wheels spoked if it was on spokes, or the alloy wheels vapor blasted, new tyres, and off we go. And then you put a loom on it, and then the tank goes off to somebody, the seat goes off to somebody. If you've still got a seat base, you're lucky. Mudguards are usually shot, so it's new mudguard, and then a load of aftermarket parts go on it, and you build a bike. There's no wrong with that. No wrong with that. But the thing is, and then I do loads of green olive in ceramic coating, and we've spoke about that in the past. There's so much green olive on the old RDs, the LCs, and that era of bike, from the yokes to the pedals to head bolts, you know, so it's amazing. When you come onto these things and you get a few through a year, I had one of these in for full restoration. Now this one I think was on a blue one, I think they were blue and red. I don't know if they did a silver and a black one even. But when you don't know colours exactly, so we got a part of the brake caliper, and when you look at it, it's like an off black. And I've been speaking to someone with Suzuki, so when I say an off black, I mean it isn't gloss, and it's just on the verge of matte satin. So we've gone for a colour on this. I might just add a little bit to it when I do a test. I might just add a bit more of a colour to mix it, because I think it's just a shade over. But the issue I have with it is because if you don't mask all these little bits off, when we peel it back, obviously we're going to have overspray, so that's where the time comes. So got it masked off, we've acetoned it all now and degreased it, and so we're ready to put it on. The media I blasted it with was the right media for accepting a ceramic coating, so that's quite good. But a bit faffy these wheels, but as I say, I've had too many X7s in. I think we've just got to the point where we've seen so many RDs through and LCs, and maybe some of the lads who do go through the fizzes, the little RD200s, the 250s, 400s, have got a bit of a collection. And I think some of them are just getting a bit bored in this area, because they're finding they're doing stuff, you know, from that era, even a bit like a Super Dream, which at the time was, you know, when they were in the showroom, we didn't call them Super Dream, we called them nightmares. But now, and CX500s to be fair, but now we'd all love them in our collections, or, you know, they were great classic Japanese, whoever thought we'd say that. So, right, so I'm going to get these painted today. Well, this one painted, because I've also got some just dropped off now, some footrests off another bike. So I'll strip these off, blast these, and these are going to be done in the same kind of ceramic coating, so you'll see them later on done. That'll be good. And then that shows you that project, and a little bit on with them wheels. I think this guy who's doing this one, he wants it a rideable classic. He don't want it showroom or concourse. But when you're at this level, you might as well do it to near enough how it was. When I pull the tapes off, what I'll be doing then, I'll be using a powder on a microfiber cloth and just be giving them a buff up. I won't be buffing them today slightly because I just want that sizzle effect. What I'll be doing is pulling the tapes, and it won't look its final finish, but because they'll have the paint still wet, obviously. So this is going to be on an air cure ceramic, petrol resistant, 625C approximately, brake fluid resistant, and UV as well. So it's a good coating, and it should look pretty stealthy factory. So I'll show you that one in a bit when that comes out, as well as these footrests. So we've got a race bike in. We've had it in for a week now. It was at the last Oliver's Mount race meeting, hill climb. Local chap, customer as well, and friend. Joel Campbell, book author as well. Got into this hill climbing and got a keen interest in it now. And the bike started slipping the clutch when he went out, and eventually he lost it, and we got it back in the paddock, and yeah, it had gone. We tried adjusting it up correctly, adjusting it all, but it wasn't having it. So been to Cadwell Park originally with this, give it a test, and there was no problem. But I think it must have just been on the end of its day. So we got it back in. First time it's been in here. It usually goes to another motorcycle shop in Scarborough, and he kind of does X-Racer, DW motorcycles, been around a long time, and he kind of does bits for Joel. He's fitted bits on this bike, and just this time I said I'd do something for him for Joel, but it'll end up back in DW's or back in here, or everyone who helps Joel out with his machine as well. And DW is ex-road racer, and he prepares bikes, and they've got a fantastic showroom down there, and the bikes are presented fantastic. The thing is, it's what I always say, old school showrooms. You know, you go in, you get the old fashioned service, you've got mechanics with wealth of knowledge who've worked on everything over their lives, you know, from the early GTs, the fizzies, everything, right the way through to modern stuff. And it's good to have, rather than this. I always say when I go into a new bike shop away from here now, you tend to lose that kind of atmosphere. When I worked in a bike shop and I used to see salesmen, they used to have a coffee or come out and talk to you, and I think now it's got a little bit finance related and the units, but that's my opinion. But old-fashioned service, as I say, DW motorcycles in Scarborough, they've just been around a long time, and if you want personal service, I'd go to they are a proper motorcycle shop. So, and big on Royal Enfields as well. A lot of people I know who come in here to have a chat, they like the Royal Enfield. So, yeah, so what we've done this time is we've stripped the clutch down, and the clutch basket, the clutch had exploded completely. I'm on about totaled, and I honestly thought that the basket itself, I mean, it's a banded basket, I thought it would have been damaged. I thought the centre hub of it all would have been rounded off, but luckily got it flushed out, cleaned out, and genuine clutch he ordered. I think he got it through DW Motorcycles, their spares department, and all the bits, the oil and everything, and filter. And Joel brought it back in, we put a clutch in it, and we're just now at the point where we've left it a few days because we're timing the workshop to drop back on this. So today we're starting on it again. So after dinner we might have a little bit more, because we're putting the fairing back on it. The only thing we did was, a lot of these bikes in hill climb, this obviously our man's bought this previously, and it's been a race bike for the purpose of hill climbs or racing, track days, and they're taking the radiator off it. So the issue we had was, when it come back up into the paddock or anything, even if you're doing anything, obviously you have to kill it, because It's meant just to get to the line and go and blam, away you go. It was bloody starting to boil up and everything, so get a fan again for it. So he ordered 2 fans. I mean, they're only about 6-7 inches. These. The first fan, he brought 2 in. The first fan was like something out of a V12 Jaguar. You know, I think if we'd have fitted it, if he could have done it, it'd have been down here. It'd have blown him off the back of the bike. But then he got a second-hand SV fan, which we've mounted on an aluminium plate, and I've just wired it up to a fuse and a kill button. Now we've got it on a switch. So at least at this stage, you know, it's not going to Isle of Man. It's just, you know, an all-round bike, but with a fan back on it. I mean, let's face it, I weighed that fan and just have a poo, you know, that's what I'm talking about. That's how much weight there is in it. So for a standard kind of bike like this, fan back on it, back on the button, we're off. So we know what, you know, as the skill set's coming to ride it more and that, but losing that bit of weight for this machine and rider at the moment it wasn't the priority. The priority is to get it cooled again. So clutches in it, all genuine Suzuki. Fresh oil, we've run it up once, dropped the oil, and we've ready to wire everything up again. Put the fairing back on it today. Check for leaks, as I say, wire up everything, sump plug and drain and everything. Just check everything round for him, and then we're just going to give it a quick try, and he needs to get that clutch bedded in. So you'll see that today with its fairing being put on it, and Joel will be in. It's just on his second book now, which I think is going to be released any time now, so that should be interesting. I think we're going to actually do a night in here, and may have the odd celebrity. I mean, last time we had Mick Grant came, which was great. He came to a kind of, we do open nights in the year, just showing you around workshops, ceramic coating, soda blasting, walnut blasting, polishing, powder coat, and just a general nat, some sandwiches. So it works well. We'll probably get about 45 people here. So I think he's going to come to that, maybe with his books, and as I say, if we can get somebody back in to have a chat as well, it'll be good. So right, so we'll move on to the next thing. We'll be back on this after dinner. We're about 10:15 now in the morning, so there's a few things to fire up on, and I'm just going to move on to some specialist ceramic coating now, so we'll have a look at that. So right, so we're on to some ceramic coatings again. Now this is going to be for the next video. I'll also be putting together that casing of that TLR 200, that's planned for next week, and showing you that, because we're doing an engine exchange as well. I've had a lot of comments on TLR 200s, not only on the heads again, but certain things customers are doing at home, and it's all been answered and cleared that up. So modifications are making slow progress, but that's the best way to do it. You know, don't buy loads of bits and go up. You think you're going up, you're going sideways. So when we come back to ceramic coatings, like you've heard me going about our TLR 200 heads, which we sell out. So we've got a Kent cam in here. I think this is off a Jigsaw. What we're going to do, we're going to ceramic coat this. So this will be with a microslick coating, which is a friction related coating. So we're getting oil dissipation from it. Again, it's to the level where, you know, you've been past the rolling road, you've got your bike tweaked, and now if it was ever vulnerable, or you've been putting bigger pistons, bored it out, etc., playing with different things, porting, you know, wet porting, resin porting now, anything you've been tweaking to the limits, it's longevity, you know, longevity. Same as what we do in the TLR 100s. These heads, when they go out, I told you about the double bearings, how they run. The camshaft is ceramic coated. You can see the difference between a standard one and a ceramic coated. And then when we put them back together, if you look close at this head, this is the standard new head we put together, but that's the original finish, and this is the grey on top again. So that's the reason that is. It isn't just a pretty colour. I know it looks factory finish and looks mint, but it's an heat dispersant coating. It's a transfer coating, so we're getting it away from the camshaft. Now, the question again is, people say, why do you do it? Is it because there's some? No, we've made this like many people do, and sell these heads, all superb, we sell them. They're running on the bearings. We've put bigger valves in them. We've coated the valve stems and the heads of the valves. Again, this one's a heat transfer to get it away. It's longevity, that's what we do here. So rather than just selling something out, we're just ticking another box. Will it make any difference? Yeah. You know, remember that these 200 Hondas, the guys who are riding modern A-class bikes and have come back into twin shocks, and all they do is want to let the clutch out, pull it back and go and put it on a skip. So they are getting a bit of stick. So anything you can do when oil's going vertical, it's longevity again. So we do it in the workshop, that's how we do. So on that we coat the cam, we coat the valve. So pistons, again, you'll have bought pistons yourself which have got the coating on. Don't get me wrong, some of the coatings you can wash off with acetone, because it ain't really a ceramic coating. Not often you might find the odd top coating. Again, that's a heat dispersant. That's the idea, is it's stopping the transfer of the heat going down into the crankshaft. And when I've done tests on some of these, if you get a piston and don't have the coating on, and you take it to about 100C, and then go underneath into the piston in its crown there, you'll probably have 108, 109. If you coat it with this particular coating and do it again, you'll probably take that down to about 104. So that the transfer, keeping in the head the energy and bouncing off the valves, we're keeping it retained, we're not taking it downstairs. So a lot of the touring car championship boys or big race boys have been doing this for years. But as I said, I'm going to show a bit of that because it's done on a turntable. Again, when you come to specialist coatings of this, you will be putting it through a 325 metal strainer, because you want to sieve the last of the impurities out. And then when you paint it, you've got a certain pass rate, and you can either measure it, you can measure it with a meter, or when you get used to your PSI rating and your stand back time and you're turning it, you'll have a pass rate and you get to know it, where you'll be at. The thing is, when this is dry, this outer wall skirting, the micro slick, you then do it with a 0-0 pad, wire wool, and you're just going over it after 24 hours and just putting a flat on it. Right, it's just to perfect it. It's not a rebar, by the way. I did have somebody say to me, he had an old rattly BSA, he said, how thick can you it's micro slick, it's, you know, thousandth of an inch we're painting to, 0.8 spray gun, you know, fan patterns correct, PSI correct. It's a little bit more on the skill side to apply this, but that's what we do. So do I do this in any bikes now? Yeah, probably do. You know, if it had been early days with GT 380s, 750s, Kawasaki's, middle pot, lack of air cooling, especially when they took all the rubbers out as well, you're trying to get maximum air through them. They were quite a rattly kind, it became a bit of a distinctive note, but trying to get the cooling to that centre pot. And when they had these little mopeds in the town, when we screwed them, you know, out of them, they were always seizing up. If you'd have had a bit of that on it at the time, we'd have probably got us to the end of the street instead of blowing up halfway down. But yeah, so hopefully onto that, bit on the valve springs as well. Just done some 1100 Kawasaki carb tops in ceramic coating. They're going on that one we have in the workshop, that tuned one, just to finish them off, that's all. So today we'll be on the wheels, the foot pegs. Next week we're going on to the more specialist side. As the season starts to get with the racing, there's a few more guys coming through. I think it's more on the big Suzukis, the lads who are doing all these old Gixxers and that, you know, because they do fly, and the bomb-proof bottom ends ones are built, so the upstairs is a critical part. So I think it's more the big Suzuki boys, and then you get your next level where you got your race guys, and you know, asking questions, which is always good because we all talk between each other. So, right, so we'll leave it till, as I say, we're on about 10:25 now. We're going to get a few things painted. After dinner, we'll get on with this video with the race bike and just final cheeking it, checking it for list, draining it out the radiator, making sure we've got no air gaps in it or anything like that, and just a general tighten up, and then wire it up, fairing on it, and get it struck up, and we'll see you in a minute. Right, I'll just show you some pictures of the footrest hangers. There's 10 bits in them footrest hangers. There's the inner plates, there's the spring, the ball bearings are in there, and then the outer. If you have a look at that close up, that ceramic coating, I'm leaving them up here to dry. They'll flash off in 15 minutes them, and then 24 hours you can actually touch them. But if you look at the finish, it's a factory finish, and you'll have seen the pictures now in a drop down I've just done. Again, the other one there, just to show you, look. Lovely finish that. And they're all done. So, yeah, have a look at the pictures, see when they were blasted in cabinet, ultra fine again. And then we'll go the other side of the workshop now and have a look at the wheel. I've just pulled the tapes off it, because if I don't pull them off now, I'd struggle with that. So that's 24 hours to cure, so that's the X7 wheel. So we're going to have a quick look. Right, so the X7 wheel. Painted it. You saw me painting it with ceramic, and then what I've done now is it's just drying off, and I've pulled the tapes, obviously the disc faces and everything, and the disc bolt holes have all been blocked. Not that it'd really matter with this, but anything with a disc face, obviously we still want it matching surfaces. I've just gone round it with a little bit of acetone because everything's been pulled now. You get a better view of it. And then what I'll do when this dries off, 24 hours, I'll just be going round these rims and along this with some fine powder, again not abrasive paste, and that'll bring it back. And I think at that looks you know, quite nice. Got all its original mockling on. When you think how the other one was, and you know, so that's what the customer wanted. He wanted it back like that, the inner painted, all masked off. As I say, it's a little bit of a fine masking off and messing about. There's no primer, remember, with ceramic coating, so you're straight onto this substrate. So what we'll do now is we're going to get this levels checked and everything, get some wired up on it, some the sump plug and everything else, get it outside and get it struck up and get this clutch bedded in a little bit, see if we've got there with it. But next week what we're going to do with the same bike, we're going to put the fairing back on it, so it's all in its HP colours. You can see that close up probably there, it's all done and dressed up here, and the top, it's nice. And then Joel's coming in next week now, and he's going to look at his books he does, and obviously photograph with a machine all ready to go again till the next time to try it out. As I say, with anything like this, when the clutch basket the other side decides to explode like that inside and the plates, you've measured everything, but you don't truly know until you get it outside or on a bit of a circuit or a good place to try it again. But I think we've got away with it. The fan's on's a bonus now, so give it half an hour, which will be a few seconds to you because we'll be pulling it back outside, and we'll give that a start up. Thanks very much. I think what we're going to do is also, on this video, we'll just have a small video outside of the bike, but as usual, thanks for commenting and you know, watching any YouTube videos. I've always, any questions on any different processes, I always get back to you on Scarborough 1723 370 399. Again, we've had a lot of things from Australia and America, even to send parts out, which we usually say to the UK, but I think we've probably just got to open the door a bit more, especially on the ceramic coatings or our cylinder heads. So we're looking at a few people with the cylinder heads as well. But yeah, happy with this. Certainly happy with that finish and the footrests. We'll just let it flash off now, dry off on 24 hours. Until the next one, thanks very much. As I say, we'll do a quick video of this machine outside. Until the next one, see you then. Right, so it's raining outside, so we're going to start it up in here now. As I say, next week we're going to get the fairing on it, but we've checked everything and got a fan on it now, which is nice, so everything's on it. So we'll just see it out.